The treatment of Christ's brothers that will be the subject of the judgment before the throne of his glory will take place during the Great Tribulation, when the believers will suffer the persecution of Antichrist. All the sufferings in verses 35 to 39 will be tied to believers who are left for the trial during the Great Tribulation. According to Revelation chapter 14, during the Great Tribulation, Antichrist will force God's people to worship him. At that time, an angel will preach the eternal gospel, warning the people to fear God and not to mistreat his people. The Christians that will be mistreated by Antichrist will be considered by the Lord his little brothers. The bigger brothers will have been raptured, and the little ones will be left to pass through the tribulation. Antichrist will mistreat them, persecute them, and imprison them. Thus they will be short of food and clothing, and many will be ill. But a voice from heaven will say something like this: Fear God and worship him, and don't do anything to harm God's people. Those who fear Antichrist instead of God will perish. God deals with the unbelievers according to the law and with the believers according to the gospel of Christ during the age of grace. But at the end of this age, the 3.5 years of the Great Tribulation, God will send an angel to preach a specific gospel, the eternal gospel. This is a dispensational matter. Then, after Christ has judged the believers at the judgment seat in the air, he will come with the overcomers to destroy the armies of Antichrist, save the remnants of the Jews, and set up his throne of glory in Jerusalem. Then, all the living Gentiles will be gathered before him to be judged. By the judgment seat in the air, he will clear up the situation among the believers. By descending to the Mount of Olives, he will clear up the situation among the Jews. Finally, at his throne of glory, he will clear up the situation among the nations. He will judge them not according to the law or according to the gospel of grace, but according to the eternal gospel, according to how they have treated his little brothers during the Great Tribulation. Acts chapter 10 verse 42 and 2 Timothy chapter 4 verse 1 both say that Christ will be the judge of the living and the dead. Christ will judge the dead at the white throne after the millennium, but he will judge the living at the throne of his glory before the millennium. The judgment according to the law for eternal perdition depends upon how one deals with God. The judgment according to the gospel for eternal salvation depends upon how the believer deals with Christ. And the judgment according to the eternal gospel for the sheep to inherit the millennium kingdom depends upon how they deal with the Lord's little brothers. The goats going into the eternal fire prepared for the devil and his angels. Verse 41 says, Then he shall say also to those on the left, Go from me, you who are cursed, into the eternal fire, prepared for the devil and his angels. This fire is the fire in the lake of fire. The goats will perish in the lake of fire after Antichrist and the false prophet, and before the devil and the resurrected sinners. This is part of the fulfillment of Revelation chapter 14 verse 10. The lake of fire was prepared for the devil and his angels, not for men. However, if any man follows the devil to oppose the Lord, he will share the lake of fire with the devil and the fallen angels. The sheep will receive the kingdom prepared from the foundation of the world, but the Christians who will be kings during the millennium will receive what was predestinated from before the foundation of the world. The portion of the sheep will be simply to enjoy what God has created from the foundation of the world. In the millennium kingdom, there will be a heavenly part and an earthly part. The heavenly part will be the manifestation of the kingdom of the Father. The Jews will be in the center of the earthly part as the priests, and around the Jews there will be the sheep, the saved nations as the people. We, the overcoming believers, will share in the spiritual enjoyment of Christ and in all the heavenly blessings. Our enjoyment will be heavenly, spiritual, and divine, but the enjoyment of the sheep, the restored nations, will not be heavenly or spiritual. Rather, it will be the blessing God gave man when he created the earth, the blessing lost by Adam's fall. I'm glad that we are in the best category, the category of the kings. The Jews will be in the earthly part, but we shall be in the heavenly part. Our portion will be the exercise to exercise authority over the nations. How I thank the Lord for giving us this clear view of the millennium. In the prophecy of the kingdom, neither the section concerning the Jews nor the section concerning the Gentiles is related to life, but the section concerning the believers, the church, is very much concerned with life. As we have pointed out, we need to be faithful, watchful, and ready, and we need to be wise and prudent. All these are indications that we must be full of life. Life is with us. Hallelujah, we are the life people. Life Study of Matthew, Message 68, attests to all people and the establishing of the table. It is not an easy matter to understand the doctrinal point Matthew conveys in his Gospel. Many of us were taught that the Gospel of Matthew was simply a storybook. However, Matthew is not a storybook, but a book on the doctrine of the kingdom of the heavens. In order to touch the depths of this book, we need to apply this point to every chapter. In chapters 26 through 28, we cannot find the term the kingdom of the heavens. However, everything contained in these chapters is related to the kingdom of the heavens. If we spend time in the Lord's presence to see the significance of these chapters in relation to the kingdom of the heavens, He will reveal it to us.